Hey! What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Q&A. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. Look at this. That's it. That's gonna be the Q&A now. I'm here. Okay, that looks better. I changed these to black. Today's about the difference between all the previous Q&As and today. The music player is now black. The background is black. So everybody. Hey, Julius. Julius Palacios! I'm doing alright. Thanks for asking. I am a bit sick. September, the transition between summer and fall, namely the transition between September and October, it's terrible in terms of weather here. A lot of people get sick. I finally did. Stupid allergy, stupid rosacea. What can I say? But I'm doing fine. I'm alive. Right? That's what matters. Fucking alive. I'm two episodes away from finishing the South Korean horror over-the-top show. I think it was on Netflix. But of course I'm watching it somewhere else. It's called Sweet Home. I almost said something else that I didn't mean. Sweet Home. South Korean horror show. Live action. CGI monsters and stuff like that. They don't look so great, but sometimes they look great. Well, you know CGI. It looks good sometimes. Half of the time, the other half it looks like shit, you know. It's CGI. But the acting is really well done. The circumstances the characters go through. It's been a great show so far, but that first season can never be surpassed. It's 3 seasons long. The first season can never be surpassed. It's an amazing season. It hooks you in. Because if the show started with the second season, I probably would have turned it off at some point. Not that the second season is bad or anything, you know, it's just I think it's a show that needed the first season to really shine and hook the viewers in a lot. Like really trap them and enchant them. So they will be able to tolerate all the stupidity that happens in the second season and the third season. And when I mean stupidity, I don't mean character stupidity. I mean that it's just so over the top. It's an exaggerated show. Very over the top. A lot of things happen that I'm like, man, really? This? And she survived that? You gotta be kidding me, right? That kind of show. But it's great. Love it. Oh yeah, I finally made it to 102,000 subscribers. Thanks, man. Thank you, Jay. Finally, after like 2 fucking years. I don't know what that is. Elliot whatever action RPG. I have no idea. I don't pay attention anymore. Have you forgotten? Like a year and a half ago. Probably more. I looked behind me and said, man, there's a lot of good entertainment in the past. Ironic considering Sweet Home, the show that I'm watching, is not old. It's kind of modern-ish, but it's a Korean show. Most of those have no agendas, you know, so it's cool to watch them. But yeah, leaving that aside, there's a lot of I've been saying this for a long time. Once you start looking back, you forget about all the new releases. and you see a gigantic world full of entertainment, music, movies, shows, and of course video games. And once you go into that rabbit hole, there's no turning back, man. There's no turning back. There's just so many good things that we missed. So many, and all thanks to modern consumerism, which I've been criticizing for a long time now. People mindlessly buying games at launch and only playing them for like 2 hours before moving on to buying the next new game for $80, and then playing it for like 3 hours each time, 4 hours maybe, and then the next one comes out and then people buy it again. It was $70 now, not 80, thank God, $70. And then they play for like 1 hour, and then the next one, and I just find it fucking hollow and stupid. That's not what gaming means to me. You know, but to each their own. If that's you, then that's you. You do you, I'll do me. And I'll keep looking back and focusing on that, because PS4, Switch era and below, there's just way, way, way too much gaming to embrace and discover, and including JRPGs. And I'm not just talking about the fan translations, you know, all of those JRPGs that for one reason or another I never finished, or I abandoned, or I didn't like and now I do, you know, or others that I didn't even know existed. Also, there's a lot of indie games, a lot of indie RPGs that, dude, I didn't know about this website called itch.io. I think it's stylized as itch.io. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard about that website, you know. Dude, there's a gazillion free indie games in there, you know. I didn't know that. I thought indies were like Steam territory, and that's it. But no, there's a enormous world of indie games and indie RPGs completely free on this website, you know. So, yeah. If you look it up, if you forget about anything that's ahead of you, just nothing but political propaganda in these guys, look back and there's nothing of the sort, and you get this marvelous world free of politics, free of agendas, pure entertainment, honest, original, creative. And then you're like, this is it, man. But be aware, once you go into that rabbit hole, there's no turning back. It's gonna be hard to go back and pay attention to what's going on. People often ask me, have you heard about this upcoming game? I'm like, no. Hey, this game is getting a remake. It was announced like a year ago and it's finally come out. Really? Oh, well, yeah. So have you heard about GOV on the SNES? Or Amedama on Switch? Or Luminous Arc 2? Or the entire trilogy on Nintendo DS? Yeah, you get the idea, right? That's my world nowadays. The past and not so distant past. Yesterday. Tomorrow, when it comes to video game industry or entertainment industry, I don't give a shit. It's dead to me. Isn't this credit card situation about not wanting people to buy porn? Like, I've seen a lot of controversy for the past few months that Visa and MasterCard, you know, what they want to do is pretty much what you're saying, kind of want to control what you can buy and what you can't. And you should be able to buy whatever you want. But what's their front? What's their smokescreen? Their excuse? Now they're doing this because they want to, what? Stop people from buying porn? Porn games? Like, I don't know, to be honest. I've read some things about it, you know, but I kind of also started. I mean, it's good to pay attention to news and what's going on in the world nowadays, but not too often. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation nowadays. It's been that way for the past few years. And all you see is fucking toxicity and all the bad things that are happening, and you don't see anything good. And if you see anything good, it's fake. It's false. Sora was saying like a couple of days ago, toxic positivity. Love that term. It's so hollow, you know. And that's it. That's the news nowadays, you know. So I don't really know. I've heard about this Q&A. I mean, this credit card situation, you know, but I don't know much about it. What they say, but they seem to conveniently label anything as porn these days. Oh yeah. Even a simple cleavage, right? Brand protection? Well, I don't know. You guys have your own hypotheses or theories of why they're doing this. Unfortunately, could they control most of the and they know that. That's why probably they're doing. That's why they're doing this. They have this. Well, it's just hard to find somebody who doesn't have a Visa or a MasterCard debit or credit card nowadays, right? I mean, they know that. That's why they're trying to control the market. It's all about controlling the market, you know. It doesn't matter if you are 18 plus. They know what's right for you. Okay, yeah. So they want you. In other words, they want you to buy only what, like, entertainment approved by the left? Is that the gist of it? So if you want to buy a Bible with a MasterCard, you won't be able to because buying a Bible doesn't fit the left-wing narrative? Or it's just porn? But right now, they're starting, you know. Next, they're gonna do everything that's. I mean, how did we get from fucking nudity being left wing and now it's right wing? Nudity, sexiness, porn, you know, hentai. Wasn't that like liberal stuff? Now it's not. Now that's conservative stuff. What the fuck happened to this world, man? Oh, man. Yeah, you guys catch up in the chat while I drink my... What do I got today? I think it's brandy. Is there such a thing as white, transparent brandy? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just drink water, you know? And then I pretend it's like vodka and whiskey. What was that sound? So, it's like the digital ID required on the UK. I'm glad I'm not in Europe right now. I live in Mexico, man. Sure, it's not as bad as Europe, but it's bad. It's bad. What are we listening to, by the way? Oh, Amedama. I just talked about this game a couple of days ago in the top 5. Amedama. Interesting game. Ever since Acquire, the company, the developer Acquire, left Square Enix, it seems like nowadays they're doing more games than less. And I don't feel like... Well, if you played any of the games they have been releasing for the past couple of years, they feel kind of indie. Not that that's a bad thing, you know, that's like actually a good thing. They feel kind of indie, but they feel like... I mean, their games feel like more free of publishers' intervention. But they also feel like, I want to say low budget, but I feel like they could be a million times better if they were published or funded, more like funded, you know, by big publishers. So, but then, you know, letting that happen means letting the developer control what you want to create, pretty much like the MasterCard and Visa situation, right? Acquire doesn't want Square Enix to dictate what they want to do creatively speaking, you know. So they went solo like a year and a half ago, and I think they could benefit from some kind of Kickstarter, maybe. Like, people know who they are. Who doesn't know Acquire, right? I mean, nowadays it's like Octopath Traveler is a huge, popular series. Sure, maybe not as popular as Persona or fucking Final Fantasy, you know, but it's huge, it's fucking huge, right? So, but still, a lot of people don't know the name of the company who makes them. They just see Square Enix, and oh, that's a Square Enix game. No, Square Enix is just the publisher, the developer, the people who created the game, who wrote the story, who did the programming, the designing, the music. It's a company called Acquire, who are the developers and creators of the Way of the Samurai series, the Tenchu series, and believe it or not, the Akiba's Trip, sorry. That little series. So that's the developer, that's the creator of the series. Square Enix has done nothing but publishing their games, that's it. So it's interesting that these guys, Octopath Traveler is still an IP by Square Enix. I'm pretty sure the new one, Octopath Traveler 0, was it? It's gonna be developed by them, or it's being developed by them and being published by Square Enix because they hold the rights to the name of Octopath Traveler. But all of the Acquire has been releasing a few games in the past, recently, in last year and this year, completely solo. No strings attached, no publisher attached. They've been self-publishing their games, and I feel like they have more soul. With more money and more budget, I feel like they could achieve much better games or longer games, because most of their games have been pretty short. Like with Amedama, which I covered a few days ago. That's a game that, even stretching the game, it's 20 hours long max. You know, there's not that much you can do. And then they did this cards RPG, The Misty Battlefield, which I insist it should be called The Misty Battlefield. Forget about cards RPG, what kind of fucking name is that? Anyway, The Misty Battlefield. And that's a good strategy RPG, kind of mixing roguelike elements, you know, good music, good art. It's also like 10 hours long. And then they put out this game called Scars of Mars on Switch and PS. No, it was on Switch and Steam. I don't think it made it to PlayStation. I don't know why though. Art style now, it's a bit more Western RPG looking. I've covered the game before in a couple of videos. I didn't finish that one because I wasn't my cup of tea, you know. But it's a good game. It's a solid game. Also mixing some roguelike stuff, but the battle system is like really different. So you play these games and these guys, dude, they're so original, they're so creative, and I'm glad because I'm glad they left Square Enix, because otherwise they would have never been able to put these games out, which in my opinion are not like top tier, you know, not definitely not Octopath Traveler level, but I feel like they're pretty good, you know, pretty good, and they have a lot of potential, and with more budget and more money, the games could be longer and bigger and maybe top tier, you know. So yeah, kudos to Acquire for going solo, and let's see what they can bring to the table next. Because they are, while they aren't indie exactly, you know, because how can you say, oh, the developer of Octopath Traveler is indie, right? But they kind of are. And I'm glad they're still alive, without the strings of publishers. I'm a bit sick today, guys. Sorry. Armed, Fantasia, and Penny Blood are sitting ducks. Well, they are. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I'm pretty sure most of those companies reached out to them. Maybe, you know. Like they reached out and said, hey, hi, I can publish your game. I'm insert famous company name. And then the developers of Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood were like, oh sure, yeah, sure, man. Dude, it's this guy from this company. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, sure. So what are your terms and conditions? Well, first of all, I'd like your main character to be black. The co-star needs to be another guy, gay, and there should be like a non-binary character. Oh, and if you're gonna let the player create characters, it needs to be type A or type B. Also, I noticed in the script that there's some swearing or some inappropriate language. You're gonna have to change that. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, this character is her tits are huge. Please tone that down a little bit, And we can't afford this girl showing some cleavage. No, that girl has a mini skirt. Please add some kind of short, long. The longer the better. Underneath, her skirt. That guy is too macho. Make him a little more androgynous and feminine. Yeah, if you can. Yeah. Once you do all that, sure, I'll publish your game. How about that? Do we have a deal? And my belief is that Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood said, no, go fuck yourself. And that's why they're sitting ducks. It feels terrible. They should find a way to self-publish the game. Maybe this year increase, the Kickstarter budget and be honest with people and say, hey, we can't find a publisher, like a truthful, honest, non-political publisher. So we're gonna have to self-publish these games, Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood. But we need a little bit more money for distribution, worldwide, I don't know what's gonna happen with those games, but hopefully they can find someone who is not going to censor them or alter them or insert their fucking horseshit views into their games and publish them in consoles, like they promised. PS5, well, though PS5 is going to be a problem if the game has some sexiness or political incorrectness. Sony and Nintendo are going to be like, fuck you, but if they can at least publish their games on Steam, that's a start, I don't know, I wish these developers the best. We will see what happens, right? It amazes you how many better RPGs there are on one RPG Maker than the AAA crap. Well, yeah, the AAA crap, the AAA games, all they do is hold the market when it comes to graphics and smoother gameplay mechanics. All RPG Maker games are the same, they feel the same. But when it comes to storytelling, yeah, they're far superior. Oh, Wikipedia says that Doki Doki Grooveworks and Square Enix are co-developing Octopath Traveler 0, so it's gonna be a piece of shit then. So it's safe to assume that if Acquire is no longer working with Square Enix, then I'm not interested in 0. I wasn't interested in the first place. I don't care for Square Enix, as you may already know. Nothing Square Enix puts out I give a fuck about, or any company nowadays, the gaming industry is dead to me. Gaming industry is dead, but it's good to know Acquire is no longer working on Octopath, because I can guarantee you they've now ruined it. Kemco's 100 plus RPGs are coming in 20 plus physical PS5 discs. Really? All of them? Every single one of them? I'm gonna get my hands on Mystic Chronicles. Yeah. Great, and I don't care. Steam is already removing games because of the credit card companies. Wasn't like Steam? Wasn't it the kinda last bastion? So it's getting fucked in the ass like all the other companies, right? Sunsoft came back? How did they come back? Did they release anything? What have they done recently? Sunsoft, legendary company from the 80s and 90s. I don't know anything they did after that, you know? What the hell did Sunsoft do after the SNES era? Like, I play out that's a hardcore company. Could it be that Sunsoft evolved into Success? That Success is the word of a company. It's the name of a company. Hardcore bastards. Oh, they choose licensed IPs for now? Oh. Great. So they came back. I get it. They came back. GOG is Kino. I don't know what you mean by Kino. You know, but okay. No, I haven't tried that, Luis. Haven't you been listening? I don't really care about modern video games anymore. That should have answered your question like 20 minutes ago. Kino means good. You know what Kino means here in Mexico? For some reason it means the King of Fighters. You go around, say Kino, and they're like, oh yeah, the King of Fighters, right? They are abbreviated as Kino here for some reason instead of KOF. So if you go, hey, are you a fan of KOF? Fuck is that? KOF. KOF, no? What about Kino? Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. The King of Fighters. Stupid American slang. Well, we have stupid Mexican slang, you know? Kino means the King of Fighters here. That's some Mexican slang. Nobody else knows that. Well, maybe in Latin America, I don't know, if you go out and fucking Argentina or Venezuela or, I don't know, Chile and say, hey, are you a Kino fan? I'm not sure if they'll understand, but in Mexico, all gamers know what that means. Kino means King of Fighters. Or Kina, right? Kino or Kina. Destroy all those companies, man. What kind of stupid question is that? Look at this guy. How can you make you care again? Hire the best fucking professional assassins you can find to kill every single human being on Black Rock and Sweet Baby. And also hire someone even more powerful and more intelligent than Elon Musk to convince Donald Trump and the United States of America's government to give a fuck about the video game industry. That's what you gotta do to make me care again. This is Luminous Arc, isn't it? Fucking you. I'm playing Luminous Arc 3 on the Nintendo DS. Luminous Arc 3. I'm sure you guys are super hyped to hear my thoughts about it. I'm convinced. I know you are. But man, Eric is finally playing Luminous Arc 3. That's what you want to hear me saying, you know. That's what you want me to talk about. Because that's what I do in my videos, right? You watch my videos. Those are the videos that I put out. You know, where I talk about these fucking games. Luminous Arc 3. Saudi Arabia acquired EA. I don't have any thoughts about that. You didn't like Luminous Arc 3. Okay. Oh, I almost read that as if you were playing East 9 on your modded 2DS. Fuck. Alright, so somebody should make a demake of Ys 9 available on 3DS. No, scratch that. I want a demake of Ys 9 on NES with shitty bumping mechanics. I want every Ys game demade. Fuck the NES. No, give me the TurboGrafx 16 demake of every Ys game. You know, so I can bump. I can have Adol and his party members bump into the enemies and kill them. That's what I would love to see that. Now we're talking about demakes, guys. For the people who have recently joined the Q&A, we're talking about demakes and Luminous Arc 3 and retro games. We're not talking about modern games and the next new game, you know, or what the fuck was released this week. I don't even know. Final Fantasy Tactics, you know. We're not talking about. We're also not talking about Saudi Arabia acquiring EA. I'm pretty sure you were lining up. You know, you were like waiting the entire week so you could join the Q&A and ask me that. Yeah. What else is there? I don't even know what's been happening this week. The PC Engine has a lot of RPGs that never came into the West. We know that. Did you know that almost 95% of Super Nintendo RPGs have now been fan translated? Almost. They just put out a new one a couple of days ago. I don't even remember the name of it. Let me tell you. It's called Sword World. The art style kind of looks Western, you know, but that's a Super Nintendo game, Super Famicom. Sword World. It has now been English patched, fan translated. How many other SNES? In almost every single NES game, I've seen a lot of NES translations. NES RPGs translated here. We only got like 10 NES RPGs in North America in the 80s, in early 90s. But most of the games, most RPGs stayed on the Famicom, which is, we're talking about like 20 or more, 30 probably, maybe even 50, you know, and most of them have been fan translated already. So the large majority of NES and SNES JRPGs have been fan translated. A lot of PS1 games as well. Game Boy Color. Now we need more work on PS2. We need to support these people so they can translate every single PS2 JRPG that never left Japan. They're getting up there with PS1, you know. I'm glad. But yeah. Most of the retro consoles, you know, in Gen 16-bit and below, most JRPGs have been fan translated. Most of the popular consoles, you know, because also some Sega Saturn RPGs, you know, but I feel like translators don't really. I mean, if they have two games to work on the Super Nintendo and another one on the Sega CD, which one do you think they're gonna give priority to? Super Nintendo, and it's just more popular because more people are gonna play that. But when it comes to Sega CDs, like, not a lot of people give a fuck about that. So I'm happy that we've been seeing this rise of fan translations for the past few years. Sure, there aren't, most of them are, well, dare I say, half of them are being machine translated and the translation isn't very well. They just copied and pasted the entire script, used probably some kind of translation software, and that's it. They didn't even bother correcting it. So it's kind of sad, you know, that you're reading this nonsensical dialogue that's like with grammar mistakes, you know, and fuck ups. But what do you? I mean, it's free. That's what you. I mean, it's free. Somebody went through the trouble of doing that, because even doing that is hard. Sure, it's 10 times harder to correct those mistakes. I know that for a fact. I could also translate. I could fucking machine translate all of my books to English. You know, I could do that. But I didn't. Instead, I took the time to and the effort to translate every to correct all of the mistakes, because man, there were a lot. But when it comes to just machine translated, it's easy. Just copy and paste, and that's it. But even it's easy, but it's still. I mean, for a book, it's not hard. You just put it there. But for a script, you gotta add those lines of text in the dialogue boxes, or in the cutscenes, or in the menus and descriptions. So even doing a machine translation is a lot of work. Easy, but a lot of work. So it is what it is. We can't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's what I'm trying to say with these fan translations. That's what I think. Beggars can't be choosers. That's right. A translation is a translation, at least. That's right. It is. And yeah, you also have these other groups of translators who are part of a modern narrative. And they're like, dude, leave that to the... If you're gonna insert politics into a game, fucking don't. Don't fucking do that. Don't censor stuff. Like the Life Bottle guys. Like, come on, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, really? So what's the difference between you and fucking modern Bandai Namco or Modern Atlus or NIS America? Come on. Don't fucking do that. No one's paying you. Anyway, you're not making any money. Why? Well, the large majority of fan translations are not like this, Play God. Play GOD on the SNES. Great game. I just talked about it. Sword World. No, I don't think it's related to Dungeons and Dragons or Record of Lore. Oh, it's based on Dungeons and Dragons? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there's a game. I'll be honest, it doesn't appeal to me. I don't think I'm gonna play it. There are some other Super Nintendo JRPGs that I'm more interested in playing. But right now, that Sword World, it's just not appealing to me. You think the translation will get replaced by AI and only jobs that is similar, and that will be left for humans? All that's gonna be left for humans is localization. Okay. You can't fully trust all of them either. Yeah, but I play a lot of fan translations in my life. And trust me, they feel better. It's something... I don't want to call it intuition, even though that's exactly what it is, because I don't know Japanese, but a lot of these fan translations feel better than the actual the official localizations, I prefer a fan translation nowadays than anything localized. No, I've never done that, Ryan. Surprisingly, I don't have a lot of SNES fans. Like, I have made videos on SNES before, top 10s, but they were unsuccessful, I don't know why. I have no idea. I have done videos and top 10s on fan translated JRPGs, but on a specific console, I haven't. And still, my videos that I put out on fan translations haven't been very successful either, so I don't think I will ever bother doing one specifically for SNES. I would love to will I love to do one? Yes, but I don't think my viewers will give a shit. Most of them. Some will, but most of them won't. VC3? What's VC3? I read that and I think of Valkyria Chronicles 3. So you're gonna have to explain what VC3 is. Fixing the volume here. So some translator have been cancelled for being so accurate? Oh, and that fucking shitty website was after that guy? Well, that's too bad. Kind of like what Nice America did with Geofront, right? When they released the translations of some of the Kiseki games, and they went after them. Because, you know, we can't have that. We can't have people doing that. We need to brainwash people with our translations and localizations. I have no idea what you just wrote, first last. Read your own sentence. Like, I don't know what? Rephrase your comment. Your comment was badly translated. It was poorly localized. Can you imagine AI translating Kid in Chrono Cross? It will be a shit show. Depends on which AI does the translation. Anyway, Chrono Cross is a game. I mean, they just put it on PS1, then on PS3, digital, PSP also, PS Vita, you know, PlayStation Store. And then they did this shitty remaster. Well, actually, it's a really good remaster, you know, it's just the CGI cutscenes, you know, and the censorship. But Square Enix just did that and they're done. Trust me, they're done with Chrono Cross. I don't think they'll ever do anything again with it. So I doubt. I mean Square Enix. I mean fans. Fans can still pick the game up and boom, retranslate it or something with using AI. So that would be interesting, seeing an AI translation of Chrono Cross. And seeing Harley. I mean, I like the accents in Chrono Cross, even though they were all made up. You know, most people don't know that. All the accents you see in Chrono Cross are made up by the localization team. They were trying to be funny. You know, but it would be nice to see an official or a fan translation without that. Just to see if it feels better, if the story and dialogue feels better or worse. A lot, first last. Check out my blacklist. Go to my website, check out the blacklist. Thank you, Z. He says, what is this Chrono Cross you keep talking about so much? Well, I just told you, you know, it's a video game that was on PS1, PS3, PS Vita, PSP, and then remastered. What I never tell people is that it's actually PC 9801 official point and click game, which was very revolutionary because it mixed a lot of survival horror mechanics. The point of the game is to play as this character called Kid, who can cannibalize on other characters. There's like 784 characters you can recruit, and you can cannibalize them, every single one of them. You do that, and you level up. And the way she cannibalizes them is like really explicit, you know, for a 1978 video game. It's really fucking explicit. It was considered very offensive. That's why somebody was worried about, you know, Ryan was worried about, can you imagine AI translated Kid in Chrono Cross, you know, because what the fuck how are they gonna do that, right? Imagine AI translating Kid, you know, yeah, so, yeah, anyway, so you can find Chrono Cross on PS1, you know, I talk about it so much because, you know, I'm a cannibal myself, you know, so I relate to these characters and this plot. That's the Chrono Cross game I keep talking about so much, Z. All versions are kind of shitty, you know, stick to the PC 9801 version. Best version to play. What's your opinion on Radical Dreamers? So I played Radical Dreamers and I talked about it in a review. Did I though? Did I ever? I'm pretty sure there's a video of me talking about specifically Radical Dreamers, which was finally translated. It was translated a long time ago, but Square Enix included the official localization of it on the Chrono Cross remaster. That's the version that I played. It's a game. It's you have to be a die-hard fan of Chrono Cross to really appreciate that game. Let's leave it at that, because it's honestly not great. If you just jump into that game without playing Chrono Cross, it's gonna be like kind of boring, and it has a lot of problems. You can get stuck. I got stuck. I couldn't finish the game because I got stuck. If you get stuck in a bad route or a bad ending, that's it. Nothing you can do. You're gonna have to restart the whole thing again from the beginning, and it's a long game. Sure, it's not like 10 hours long, no, but it's several hours long, 4 or 5 hours maybe. So it's only worth playing if you are a die-hard Chrono Cross fan. But if you play Chrono Cross and you're like, hey, the game is alright, it's good, I'd say don't bother with it. It's not that interesting of a visual novel. It's very different. It's more comedic. It's just bare bones. It's mostly the exploration of Viper Manor. I don't know, man. It's an interesting little spin-off, Even though that's what came before Chrono Cross. Maybe Chrono Cross is actually the spin-off of Radical Dreamers. If we're gonna go with that, Chrono Cross is a spin-off of Radical Dreamers. Oh no! Wait a minute. Actually, no. Chrono Cross is a spiritual successor to Radical Dreamers. That if we're gonna get really 100% objective and technical, Chrono Cross is a spiritual successor of Radical Dreamers. Get your facts straight, people. Actually. Telemundo? Fuck is that? Chrono Trigger got retranslated by some dude. Okay. Have you played it? I didn't know it was retranslated though. I've seen some in Retro Game Talk. I've seen some official retro JRPGs being retranslated. I just saw one. I think it was... Well, I saw the hack for Breath of Fire 4, which is a retranslation and also uncensored version of it. So that might be the best version of Breath of Fire 4 to play. Maybe I should do a top 10 of that. I don't know how many people are gonna find it interesting though. Because most of my viewers would rather play the official releases because they aren't into emulation or hacks, but maybe I can do a list in my blog, even in my website one of these days. I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? I can do that. But there's been some retranslations and some definitive editions, like Tales of Destiny got one. They did this reforged translation which removed all of the censorship and all of that jazz, except for the Eye of God, because apparently, we're gonna release a version which is more faithful to the original. This is some gung-ho bullshit. Let's not talk about that, these life bottle guys, Anyway, anyone who is into emulation will find it interesting. Yeah, I know that, but it's just YouTube doesn't really push videos about that. Because emulation is piracy and illegal and it's a crime. And you should burn at the stake because of that. So, kind of hard to make a lot of content about that. Thank you, Zima Duvant. He says, finished Final Fantasy Legend 2. You mean Saga 2. That's my favorite Game Boy game of all time. It's my first RPG ever made. You probably already know that. That's a good game. It's very dated, though. I'm glad you played it and enjoyed it. And now you're playing the first Shin Megami Tensei on the SNES for Halloween. No. What are you doing, man? No. You have to play the PS1. I think it's translated. Let me look it up for you. Don't play the Super Nintendo version. Shin Megami Tensei PS1. Let me see if the PS1... Oh, fuck, it's not. Come on. Let me see if I can find the fan translation of Shin Megami Tensei on PS1, because that's a little bit better. Yeah, it's just called Shin Megami Tensei. Here you can even... Here it is, it's English patched. The PS1 port, play... if you're not far into the game, Zima Duvan, I will advise... If you're gonna play that game, play the PS1 version, not the SNES original. Well, up to you, if you wanna... I mean, up to you. I'm just offering some completely unsolicited advice. I mean, that's what you like this channel, right? Like, I answer questions nobody asked. Somebody grant your wish by playing Time and Eternity. It's not gonna be me. Well, I already promised that once I reach episode 20 of the worst JRPGs ever made live streams, I'll do Time and Eternity. We got like 4 more episodes to go, and I only do them like once every 3 months or something, so it'll be a while before we get to that. But yeah, somebody else can do that. Some streamers and YouTubers here watching, please grant this humble viewer's request and play the worst JRPG ever made. Just for the sake of that guy. I played Ephemeral Fantasia, man. I play Ephemeral Fantasia. Now, what? Do you honestly believe I finished Time and Eternity? I put several hours into it. There's a clip about it. And it's here in this channel. It's not on my second channel. It's here in this channel. You can look it up. Time and Eternity. I'm pretty sure if you type Time and Eternity Eric Landon, you might find the video. It's called Why I Hate Time and Eternity So Much. It's just a clip. But it's actually like a 5-minute long clip. It's still a clip. So yeah, I played Ephemeral Fantasia. Live. Part of the worst JRPGs ever live streams. That game has great fan service. Let me tell you that. That game is wasted potential. It is pretty bad. It's a pretty bad game. Yeah. I know, Joker. Like, I'm tired of saying the same thing again and again. I don't even know why people can't memorize that for some reason. It's like they don't even believe me. Sure, I played Final Fantasy Russian from Sega Genesis, because I'm Russian, I understand Russian 100%, Mr. Bones. Of course I fucking play that, you know? What was the last Western game or RPG you had remote interest? If you're including Western games in your question, like non-RPGs, Shantae. I was just playing Shantae yesterday. Shantae Risky Revenge, the Game Boy Advance game, you know, which is everywhere nowadays. That's a Western game. So that. Gobble. I'm still playing Gobble. It's gonna take me years to finish it because it pisses me off. But Gobble, I'm still playing Gobble on PS1. That's another Western game. I could go on, you know, I play a lot of Western games. Now, Western RPGs, though, the last one where I had remote interest. Do indies count? Are we including indies? If we're including indies, then oh boy. But I know what you mean, like actual Western AAA RPGs. The Witcher 3, didn't I just mention it? I just released a video called My Favorite Everything. It was a fun video, Could have made it longer. I was like, man, am I really gonna do a 10, 15 minute long video just naming my favorite things ever? So I decided to cut it short and do a 6 minute long video. It's a fun video. Check it out. I did a full review of The Witcher 3. I just mentioned the game. Any handheld games that you think will be better on home console? Well, I'll be completely honest. For years, I've been playing most of my handheld games on my computer, my laptops, so they kind of are. And then my computer is something I can connect with an HDMI cable to that TV over there. So they're kind of home console-ish already for me. I'd say mostly all of them, I think it'll be easier to say which ones wouldn't be better in a home console. Take the Nintendo DS, for example. Every time I play something on the Nintendo DS, I have to change the view somehow to make it better and fit for my screen, for my big screen, whether it's here on my laptop when I'm live or my TV. I have to change the view. Seen it? Just check out any Nintendo DS live streams that I've done in the past year or so. And you can see how sometimes I struggle with the view because you get two screens to worry about, and I've seen some that, like, take the first Luminous Arc, for example, or any Plants vs. Zombies, or any game that was released exclusively, like, it was designed specifically and only for the Nintendo DS, and therefore everything is with a touch screen. Ragnarok DS, another example, like, everything is with a fucking stylus, So somebody will have to really go to great lengths to fix that, to put the game and make it better. Not just playable, better, but better also on a home console, So, to answer your question, like, some of these games were so developed with the Nintendo DS and only the Nintendo DS and the touch screen in mind that it's not fun to play them on a home console, They will have to go to great lengths, like I said, to fix that, to alter them somehow and make them playable on a home console. So you got a lot of Nintendo DS games that I can answer that question with. I don't like the South Park games because they're published by Ubisoft. So I kind of lost my respect for South Park a long time ago. Who do you think is the most famous female RPG protagonist that deserves her own game? Okay, the most famous female RPG protagonist. I'm deciding between some of them that came into my mind immediately. But isn't your question kind of weird, Yum? Because if we got a female protagonist in an RPG, then she already has her own game, right? Like, take Valkyrie. I mean, take Valkyrie Profile, for example. I mean, Lenneth is the main character. She's a girl, and that's her game, right? So I don't know what you mean with your question. Do you have a favorite jank PS2 or PS3 action game? Jank? What's jank? My favorite handheld console is the PSP. Yes, it is. It's my second favorite handheld, DS or 3DS. I will probably go with 3DS, yeah. PS Vita is also up there. But most of my PS Vita gaming, I did it on a PS TV. That's my top three, you know, PSP, PS Vita, and 3DS. I don't think it was a strange decision, you know. Nintendo. Why would you say it's a strange decision to make Phantom Hourglass played using the touchscreen? That's what they were aiming for with the Nintendo DS, to have a lot of games played with a stylus. Otherwise, then what was the point of developing and coming up with the idea of that? Now, do I like that? No. A lot of people don't like that, you know, but Nintendo made that, so of course they were gonna do some of their first-party games exclusively played on the touchscreen, you know? It makes sense. Why is it strange? Do you think we'll ever get, and would you even want an all-in-one emulator? Yeah. Do I think we'll ever get one? No. Because then new consoles are still being, I mean, come on. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. There have been attempts in the past, but no, it's never gonna happen. I don't think we'll ever get one. But I would love to have one. All-in-one emulation, you know? Jank is like garbage. Like it doesn't play well, something like Drakengard 1 or 3. Oh. It's a bit, you know what game I've been playing lately? It's a bit janky. It's called Mystic Knights on PS2. It's a survival horror game from Korea. And yeah, it doesn't play very well, but there's something, I like it. I've been enjoying it, you know? I played it live a couple of days ago on Twitch. And it was fun. But you mean like an action game, right? Like a hack and slash or something like that? I don't know. Let's face it, I'll be completely and brutally honest. This is one of my favorite PS2 games of all time, and people hold this game in a high regard. But the action in this game is very janky. I'm sure you've heard about this game. It's called Ico. Ico, ICO. You know, on PS2. Wonderful game, amazing, I'm a big fan. But the action in that game is very janky. I wouldn't say garbage, you know. It's not bad, you know, but it's not great either. I can't think of another one right now. I kinda, maybe, not really like The Bouncer. Maybe The Bouncer. The action is pretty janky too in there as well. You know, Oh, well, like I was saying, a lot of people didn't like the touch screen. I don't like it, you know. But it was Nintendo. Yeah, most of my favorite games, with the exception of Plants vs. Zombies, which I fucking love, and I got used to playing it with the touch screen. With the exception of that game, you know, all of my favorite games on the Nintendo DS have nothing to do with a touchscreen, thankfully. RetroArch is practically an all-in-one emulator already. No, it does not emulate PS3, PS4, Switch, Steam, so no, it isn't. Which game would you most like to see translated into English? Right now, Tales of the Heroes, sorry. Tales of the Heroes. I talked about it not long ago in a long video called 13 Hidden JRPG Gems. It's a 2-hour long video, you know. Talked about it. That. It's half translated. But I want the story mode also translated. Sure, the story mode is not gonna do much for me because it's not really an RPG, you know. But I don't know. I just want to see what the characters are saying, even if it's nonsensical crossover, silly bullshit, you know. I would love to see a translation to that. Another one that I want is Tales of Destiny 2 on the PS2 or PSP, either version. But I think the one that I want the most, available for everybody, not this go to my Discord and download the fucking... No, just fucking put the translation on Retro Game Talk. And that is the original Grow Lancer. That's my biggest game that I want so bad translated to English. But I want to have to go into someone's Discord to download. No. Just put it out there. Why are you holding this translation hostage? Who did this translation, man? Fuck these guys. Why are you holding the translation hostage on a Discord? Fucking put it out there in websites so people can download it from anywhere. What the fuck, man? What are you going to do to celebrate Halloween? It's a surprise. The people that make emulators don't even get along and have drama between them. Well, yeah, there's a lot of politicized imbeciles within the open source world, and I mean a hell of a lot of those guys. And when I say imbeciles, like, man, I mean fucking sociopaths, like bad people, man, like completely fucked in the head people, unfortunately. So you are correct. Join the Discord so you can endure having weirdos spam your pings for 5 minutes because they didn't bother locking pop-ups to mention only. That's a funny joke. But I will say I'm not joining the Discord. I don't want to have to join some social media to download a fan translation. It's just fucking stupid. Why would you ask people to do that? What's in it for them? Why would they want people so bad to join their Discord? I mean, I would understand if they were kind of selling this translation, which will get them into a lot of trouble with Atlus or whoever has the rights to the first Grow Lancer. Probably Atlus. It's an Atlus game, you know. But I don't know. What's in it for them? I mean, what happens if I join their Discord and download it from there? Are they gonna make money or what? What's the point? Just put it out there, man. Have you joined the Discord? Now I want to know. Has anybody joined the fucking Discord to download the Grow Lancer translation? Sorry, Grow Lancer, Grow. Grow Lancer translation. But because I haven't, and I have no plans on ever doing that. Dude, it's just... Fuck, man. I mean, let's be realistic here. I'm sure eventually someone's gonna bother to upload the translation to Retro Game Talk, at least in there, you know. Someone's gonna... I mean, let me look it up right now. Let me just look it up. Grow Lancer. Where is it? So I have here the PSP And the PS1, do we even know which version is the one that got translated? The PS1 or PSP? It's a 2D game, by the way, Grow Lancer. No one's saying anything in the comments here. Yeah, anyway, let's go to the PSP one. Only the Japanese version is available for download. So here, someone saying, patch on Discord has now reached beta status with both discs translated, I believe. And Spike, the owner of the website, is selling released when? Apparently 5 months ago on the main Grow Lancer server, search for these two, comment by Poor Chief, it's in beta, so they're fixing it. Spike says, no, I meant like the public release. When are they going to do a public release? They freak out if you upload something they shared on their Discord, on their precious Discord. So they're working on it. That's why it's still a Discord exclusive, you know? Let me rephrase that. That's why it's only available on these people's Discord. If you want to check out the beta. So I'm just gonna wait until there's a full fan translation, officially no beta, and then I'm pretty sure it's gonna be there on Retro Game Talk and other websites, you know. We're just gonna have to keep waiting. If there was any retro console that you could get a complete collection for, which would it be? PlayStation 2. But let me be completely honest with you. I'm not interested in doing a complete collection of any console because I don't really like collecting shovelware of any console. And let's face it, there's a lot of shovelware that's freaking expensive. Take the NES, for example. I mean, one of the worst video games of all time is the Cheetah Man trilogy. And some of them are available. Cheetah Man 2 had its own cartridge on the NES. And it's insanely expensive. So would you go out of your way to pay a lot of money for that game just to say I have a complete NES collection? Or Action 52? You know, come on. So I would never do that, you know. I have zero interest in ever completing a console or having a complete collection of any console whatsoever, because then I will have to pay money for the fucking horrendous games, you know, that I don't care about. Just to say, oh, I made it. I have a complete PS2 collection. I respect that. You know, there are people out there who do that. Great, that's their hobby. You know, but not me. You know, I just don't want to pay money for garbage. Simple as that. Complete the Wii U. I guess it will be easy. How many Wii U games are there? It will be easy, right? Wouldn't it be easier to go with Virtual Boy? Oh, wow. Never mind. Too many fucking expensive games. Proves my point. You know? But if I have... like, if somebody gave me $5 million and put a gun on my head and said, you're gonna have to do a complete collection of a console. Which one? Then the PlayStation 2. No, I don't drink any energy drinks. A lot of streamers do, to be like super hyped and super happy and energetic in their streams. But I don't. I mean, it shows, right? I know when people show up in my streams, I'm like bitching about something or complaining about it or being negative or stressed or yelling at the game. That's what I do. Maybe if I drank some energy drinks, I will have more viewers. Maybe if I use drugs, you know, alcohol, coffee, you know, something to pump myself up and be more energetic. There were some dudes, some dumbass complaining about that, believe it or not, in my Twitch streams like a month ago or so. Some fucking dumbass, you know, saying, you should be as energetic as you are in your live streams. If you don't want to see a 40-year-old man being negative and bitching about games and yelling at the screen, don't watch my streams. It's not like it's not like my streams are like the best fucking streams up there, you know. I don't even stream anymore. I only stream on Twitch. Because, you know, me being angry in the game and, you know, yelling at it, that's not what most viewers want. Remember, we live in a world where viewers want, hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be playing Luminous Arc on the Nintendo DS, a great game. And I have to keep this smile the entire stream. If I go this, oh, it's over. No, we can't have that. And I can't do that anymore. Which is the reason why I stopped streaming, you know, and I'm only sticking to Fridays on Twitch and the occasional exclusive Patreon live stream. So the people who appreciate those kinds of streams, you know, will go there and watch me, you know. There's plenty of angry players. There's plenty of happy and positive players too, man. There's plenty of everything nowadays. Just pick whoever you want to watch. You don't want to watch me play games live because I'm angry, you know? Then just don't. Simple as that. I just released a video with that, Yamato, called My Favorite Everything. Didn't you kind of try going for a complete Switch collection, Yum Yum? Didn't you sell a lot of your games when you moved? Have you ever thrown a controller before? Yeah. I have. It's super rare though, you know. When I was little, maybe. But I think the closest that I get nowadays, or have gotten in the past several years since I became an adult. It took me a long time to become an adult, by the way. Like most people get into adulthood when they're 18 or 20. No, I became an adult when I was like 35. So, I have a couch, right? I sit in my couch, and then when I get angry, I just toss the controller on the couch. Like, just, yeah, like that, you know? Or toss it at the screen or at the floor, or like wherever it may fall. I probably did that a couple of times when I was a young kid, like a little kid. But I've never done that as an adult. I've gotten really angry, you know? How many JRPG games are out there that use a first-person perspective? Deception on PS1, that's one of them. King's Field, all of them. The atrocity that's Shadow Tower and its horrendous sequel. People have tried to sell me on that before. Oh, you should play the sequel, it's better. No! It's not. But they aren't wrong. The original PS1 game is complete and utter garbage, you know? The sequel, it's utter garbage. Now, let's remove complete from that sentence. Still trash. Eternal Ring, also on the PlayStation 2, that's a first-person JRPG. I mean, yeah, those are the only ones I can think of right now. So there were some experimenting on PS1 and PS2. I mean, you don't mean first-person dungeon crawlers, right? I mean, I know what you mean. You mean like action RPGs, you know? Like, some of the Elder Scrolls games can be played on first person. That's what you meant, right? You're welcome, Yamato. It's a 6-minute long video, hope you enjoy it. $60+ for controllers, not worth throwing. Exactly. Previously, before, like 15 years ago, NES controllers were like $5. probably less. $3 for an NES controller. People will throw in them all the time. I mean, because who wouldn't get angry when playing an NES game? Yeah, I tried child support. I failed miserably. Watching Sekiro angry players is the best. I remember doing a live stream of Demon Souls and I got angry and people hated on me. You're not supposed to get angry at the Souls series, you know? Exist Archive. Great soundtrack. Motoi Sakuraba. Dare I say, this soundtrack is even better than most of the soundtracks of the Tales games. I'm not saying that Tales games have bad soundtracks. They have pretty good soundtracks, but most of the music in those games are kind of forgettable. Is kind of forgettable. But this sounds so Valkyrie Profile, right? Sounds like you're playing a Valkyrie Profile game. They told Motoi Sakuraba, hey, the gameplay mechanics are gonna be like Valkyrie Profile. Oh, yeah. I'll do a similar soundtrack, but you know, the story and characters are gonna be like the exact opposite, like completely different. I don't care. You just said gameplay mechanics, Valkyrie Profile, I'll do that. Wait! Hey, wait, dude! The story, we need, like, we get high school students here? No, fuck it. Long live Motoi Sakuraba. Does the game Alice Madness Returns have a good soundtrack? I think so, yeah. You mean as in worth listening to outside of the game? I haven't done that, to be honest. I haven't, like, sat down and listened to some songs from the soundtrack and enjoy it. I don't know, I haven't done that, you know. But I remember when I played the game, it had good music. The music was decent, you know? Yeah, I did play Diablo, Fallout. I play Fallout, not the original PC games. I played then the whatever Brotherhood on PS2. It wasn't bad, but it was like meh. Right, I did play Diablo, the first one. Also not a fan. Crescendo makes music for both Star Ocean and Tales series. No. The music in those series is done by one guy. He's called Motoi Sakuraba. I was just talking about him 20 seconds ago. Crescendo is just a developer. You see me a bit thinner? Maybe it's because of this? I don't know. I've noticed that this makes me look a bit thinner. More fit. Maybe it's because of that. Probably. I'm a bit sick today, by the way. No, I've never played the Mad Max game. I've seen the movie. The guy is the company. Motoi Sakuraba is Crescendo. So Motoi Sakuraba, developed Baten Kaitos and Eternal Sonata. I didn't know he was a developer. Thanks for letting me know, by the way. Maybe I should play games live in these Q&As. I've been thinking about that, you know. Yeah, This Way Madness Lies, for example, that's a game. The question is there a game soundtrack that you feel that it doesn't fit a particular game? This Way Madness Lies. This Way Madness Lies is an indie RPG from the developer of Cosmic Star Heroine. The music is, well, some of the music is fitting, you know, you listen to it and it's kind of catchy and upbeat and silly, you know, but the other half is like this really good, amazing soundtrack, and a soundtrack like that for a game like that, it's just weird, you know, because the game is like a comedy, silly, like an ode to Sailor Moon and those magical girls, you know, anime series, you know, and you hear this music, right? But I can't think of anything better than the Atelier series. The Atelier series has this, sometimes they got this dude called Daisuke Achiwa, great composer, badass metal themes, you know, that guy. And then you play the game and it's like, this is a game about a young, charismatic, upbeat, magical girl trying to do alchemy and help the townspeople, you know, and there's a lot of comedy and slice of life. And then you hear this in the battle theme. That Atelier would be the perfect example of that. But the music definitely does not fit the game. But the game's good, the music is good. They don't really get along though, but it's good. Great soundtracks. Did you ever get into Transformers or Gundam? No, I tried when I was little. I watched Transformers, Gundam. My brother kinda got into that. I never did. I was more into characters like humans or monsters, you know, but like robots, never really got into that. Do you like thunderstorms? When they don't produce a power outage? Maybe. Do you have any good easy dungeon crawlers? Gee, man. It's just, all of them are super hard. It's hard to go out and say, hey, this is a dungeon crawler for beginners. If you want to go retro, maybe the original Phantasy Star. I will recommend playing the PS2 remake of it over the Sega Master System version. But another one two that I think are, I don't want to say easy because none of them are easy. I don't think there's a single easy dungeon crawler in existence. But if you might find it easy to get into the series if you play Persona Q 1 and 2. Maybe. Persona Q on 3DS, you know. I beat it. If I beat that game, so can you. Trust me, you know. Or maybe try to find any of those dungeon crawlers with an easy mode. Some of them do have, most of them don't. But some of them come with easy modes. Maybe that's gonna help, you know. It's a brutal genre, man. It's precisely done to be made super hard and grindy, you know. But yeah, I would probably recommend Persona Q 1 and 2 for beginners into dungeon crawlers. The 3DS spin-offs, you know, maybe. What was your favorite show as a kid? Oh, I had too many, man. I had Dragon Ball Z. I had Saint Seiya. I had a lot of cartoons, you know, like Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs. I loved Animaniacs. You know, I have, I kind of started loving Mr. Bean since I was pretty little, you know. Mr. Bean was released in the early 90s, so I was like 7 or 8 years old already, you know. So Mr. Bean. Then I got into the X-Files, loved that show when I was like 10 years old. I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I was into it. The X-Files. Yeah. No, I don't care about Digimon games. And I don't care about anything new. So stop asking me about new games. You already know the answer. Did you watch Eek the Cat? Yes, I did. Reverie. what was the last Trails game you played before you were done with the series? Reverie. Reverie, in terms of gameplay, graphics, music, battle system, it was a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. But the translation is fucking garbage, When I finished that game, I was like, the story. The first thing that popped into my head, and I mentioned this in the review 2 years ago, that the story wasn't great and it felt more like fan service, and it was kind of like meh. But then after I did a review, I was like, I kept thinking about it. I was like, man, there's something wrong with the story here, and I realized that the translation was fucking garbage, and that's when I said, fuck it, I'm done with the Trails series, and I'm done with Falcom, and I'm done with NIS America. Because these are companies that don't give a fuck about players anymore, or fans. They only care about... Mary Skelter is a good dungeon crawler. Yes, it is. It is, but that's very hard and grindy. The first one. I never really got into the second ones, They were censored, and they were made more silly, to be honest. I think they had better gameplay mechanics, though. Improved battle systems, and exploration and shit. And the one that I put a lot of hours into was the first Mary Skelter. That's the one that I recommend, But the other two, like, sometimes I recommend them. Sometimes I have recommended it before. Sometimes I don't because they're censored, and I'm not sure about them, But the first one is good. Did you watch He-Man? Yeah, never quite liked it. It was alright, My brother became a big fan of it. Not really. Do you have Fox Kids in Mexico TV cable? I have no idea. I don't do cable, man. Are you done with Game Pass? That's not a question you should ask to someone who has never used it in the first place. I don't even have an Xbox, man. Inhumanoids? I remember Freakazoid. Does anybody remember Freakazoid? Did you ask that before OE's Origin? Yeah, Freakazoid was a fun show. What's up, Michael? Yeah, I did watch the Legend of Zelda cartoon and also the Super Mario cartoon. Man, cringe. They're pretty bad. I also play the Sega CD games, not the Sega CD, the Philips CDI games. But that was already when I was an adult. But when I was little, I did watch the Zelda and Mario TV shows. Pretty terrible. They're pretty bad, man. And I can't even say, oh, I'm nostalgic for them. I know they're bad, but no. They're fucking bad. And that's it. Terrible. Wow, what a great song. Baroque. Great soundtrack. This is one of the only reasons why Baroque has a whopping 7 out of 10 in my blog. It's still under the not worth playing list, and I did a review of it. I should have waited until October to do the review. I'll just repost. It's gonna get a lot of views if I do that, I know that. Baroque, don't play the game, just listen to the soundtrack. So you can say the same thing, yeah, great soundtrack, with bad game. It should be number 1 in my top 10 bad JRPGs with great soundtracks. Oh, Game Pass is now $30 a month? A month? That's insane. I charge $1 a month. $1 a month for my Patreon live streams and content. That's a lot. It's too much. So $30 for a Game Pass? And I'm not being sarcastic, man. No, actually, I'm not being sarcastic. Like, really? $30 a month? Fucking Xbox, man. Do you think VR could have a future in the RPG genre? Are you nostalgic with wrestling? No. When I was little, I got into lucha libre, the Mexican wrestling, you know, because I found the fighters appealing because of the masks and the suits, you know. But I think my hype and my interest for wrestling died with like less than a year. I just realized it wasn't for me. I lost interest, you know. A lot of people lose interest in wrestling once they find out it's faked. When they're little, you know, when you're an adult, you already know that, you know. But when you're little, you don't know. You really do believe people are fighting for real, you know. But then you realize it's faked, and it kind of loses appeal for a lot of people, as it did to me. But that's when you're little, you know. Well, it seems everything is blocked in your country, Wes. Is Patreon too offensive for Algeria? Well, yes, of course. Chris Pratt is like, why was he even there? Why was he even in the movie? Vandal Hearts music. I don't even need to look. It's Vandal Hearts, what we're listening to right now. It's been an hour and a half, and I just noticed, since we're talking about money here, I just noticed that what company isn't woke, Zema? At least Patreon lets you do whatever you want, you know. I have a podcast on Patreon called Eric Landon Uncensored, and boy, my rants in there go hardcore. The stuff on my podcast will never fly here on YouTube. So yeah, Patreon is woke. It is, like 99% of fucking companies in the world, sadly. You know, but at least Patreon doesn't fuck with you. Maybe because I'm not big, you know. I figure if I was like super big on Patreon, maybe they will do something about it, but they don't do anything about it. They don't give a shit about what I say. That's what companies should do. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. Just let people be and express their views however they want without fucking with that. That's great, you know. They have messed with other people in the past. They haven't messed with me, probably because I'm small. I'm too small in there. I have like 55 people, you know. I'm not big enough. Yeah, exactly. I'm just a minuscule guy on Patreon, you know. Oh, okay. Well, they haven't fucked with me. And so where I don't even know where to go, you know. Like, what do you do? Everything is controlled by the left nowadays. And your precious president, Trump, doesn't seem to give a shit. Or doesn't seem to have enough power to put a stop to it, you know. Did you ever try Tokyo Jungle? Nope. Never heard about that. That's right, Donsk. Pretty much. Well, there's not that too many horror RPGs, JRPGs. I'm trying to find more. Maybe I'll do some kind of video about that. I haven't decided yet. What's Tokyo Jungle? I'm sure if I look, I mean, there's gotta be a lot of horror RPGs in the indie world. Because in Japan, there's more, you know, which we didn't get them. There's some retro JRPGs. There's one on the PS1. Like, I know the NES one, like Sweet Home, you know, or Sweet Something, you know, that's classic. But, I think there's one PS1 JRPG that we never got. That's a horror RPG. I just forgot the name of it. You know, and there's gotta be more. Eventually, there's gonna be more. I mean, eventually I'm gonna find more. Do you have a favorite mecha JRPG? Yes, I do. Specifically mecha, right? Where, I mean, I'm not gonna squeeze in some of the Trails games, right? Or Xenogears or Xenosaga. I mean, if those count, then fucking Xenosaga 3, you know. By far my favorite. Does that count? If it counts, then that's the one. Xenosaga 3, or the entire trilogy, Xenogears, some of the Xenoblade games, the Trails games, you have mechs in there. But as in mecha, as in being the genre, you mean like Super Robot? Super Robot Wars? Or how about Vanguard Bandits, man? That's a PS1 game, Vanguard Bandits. Well, they aren't exactly mechs. They're like giant knights, but it's like the same concept. No. Glory of Valkyrie? No, I've never heard about it. Baroque is not an interesting game. Watch my review. It's not terrible, you know, but it's not a great game. Either version. This is sort of Etheria, if I'm not mistaken. Gundam Musou, never played it. Tokyo Jungle is some PS3 exclusive that you control animals to survive in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo. Was that game released in North America? Sounds interesting. You control animals to survive in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo? That sounds interesting. Do you like puzzle games? Puzzle as in environmental puzzle? Or puzzle like in Tetris? If it's puzzle like Tetris, I think I only like Tetris. You know, I never really got into Dr. Mario or... What else is there? All the columns, you know? Yeah, I like Tetris and that's as far as I go. You mean like Puyo Puyo and stuff like that? Yeah, okay, yeah, those games. No, I'm Tetris and that's it. I'm at the surface. Tetris Attack on SNES, right? I think I played it. I don't remember much about it. If you had only one console where you can play JRPGs in, what would it be? The PlayStation 2. No shit. You said Musou. I know what Musou means. Of course, a Dynasty Warriors game. Today's pretty bad on Super Chats. Is it because I keep drinking water? I'm a bit sick. What do you expect? I'm thinking about playing some games in the Q&As. Just for a little bit. Metroidvanias. I guess even though I finished, I liked some, you know, like Frontier Hunter and Bloodstained. I guess my answer should be no. I don't really like, you know, backtracking a lot and getting lost. And I'm not sure about that, you know. Like, I like some, like I said, you know, and I have reviewed some and recommended some in my channel, you know, but especially if they're RPGs. But I wouldn't call myself a fan of Metroidvanias. Temu? I should hold a versus for which game to play on Q&As. Not a bad idea, you know, I should start the stream on... Yeah, it's not a bad idea, Ryan. Actually, you know, what game should I play for the last 15 minutes of the stream, of the Q&A? Or the last half an hour or something, you know, I can give some options, you know. I like that idea. We're onto something here. Sack 3? I haven't played the remake, Roberto. Senko no Ronde? Yeah, sure. Not today, but maybe next Sunday we'll put this into motion and see how it goes. What is this? Dragon Star Varnier? Okay. I feel like some viewers like Vicente Cortez here don't really watch my videos and just show up in my live streams to ask questions that are answered in like 10 million videos. We know that, Roberto. We just talked about it like 10 minutes ago before you joined. It's a Halloween month. But I did Mystic Knights and Vampire Panic on Twitch a couple of days ago. I talked about the PC98 like an hour ago. The Chrono Cross original cannibalism version. There's all kinds of people, man. Am I a fan of the Master System, or is it just meh? I understand its history, you know, but for me personally, I don't think the system is meh. You know, I think it's a great system. But for me personally, it is kind of meh. Like, I've never been that interested in Master System. I love the NES, and I'll play a lot of NES games because I grew up with it. But Master System, I never grew up with it. I didn't even know it existed until I became an adult. Till when I was old. I'm just being an asshole, Vicente. PS1 fat or PS1 slim? Fat. But PS2 slim. Sack 3 is an action RPG on the PC98, FM Towns, PC Engine CD. Oh! Sack 3, huh? Is it fan translated? If so, then I'll play it. What you said caught my attention, that you said some horrendous things happen in it. Now I'm interested. Master System in Latin America was scarce. Yeah, it was. Nobody had it. Nobody had anything from Sega here. Some people had the Genesis. And we're talking about some places in Latin America. I know that Sega was huge in Brazil. Huge. I know that. But in Mexico, specifically in Mexico, Sega was like just... Nobody fucking knew what that was, you know. And nobody called the Genesis Genesis here. Everybody called it Sega. The Sega. The Nintendo and the Sega. But anything before and after the Genesis here in Mexico was like, no, what? Non-existent. I think I was a teenager already when I probably asked someone, hey, what happened to the Sega? You know, I was probably like 17 years old when I asked somebody, do you know the Sega? Oh, you mean the Genesis? Yeah. Well, what happened to it? Did that company make more consoles? I don't know. Nobody knew. And then when I was an adult, I found out there was like Sega CD, 32X, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, you know, and yeah, and now everybody knows that. You know. Could there be some people, when I do these videos, you know, like whatever on every console, you know, the best JRPG on every console, the worst, the hardest, you know, when I do those, could there be people when they see, oh, okay, so the most underrated JRPG on the Sega CD is blah blah blah, and they're like, what the hell is a Sega CD? I'm pretty sure there are people like that nowadays. Nothing wrong with that. I can't blame anybody for not knowing what a Sega CD is. Or a Philips CDI. Or an FM Towns. Hell, PC Engine, you know, a lot of people don't know that. But one quick look, you know, on your phone, PC Engine, now you know. But back in my day, you know, it was like, what the hell is a PC Engine? I don't know, do you know? No? Can somebody look it up? Can somebody go to the library? That's like 10 miles away, you know, right now and find out what the hell is a PC Engine? And I'm pretty sure those things most of those things weren't in libraries, you know. Nobody kept books about video games. Nobody, I mean, imagine going to a library. Do you have video game books? No, what? Video games are video games, kid. We don't have any books about video games. No. I'm not interested in partial translations. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's play Animal Crossing. They do exist, man. They just weren't released there. You didn't know about the PCFX until 2017? I didn't learn about the PCFX until today, October 5th, 2025. What is that? PCFX? Now I do know it. Do you know Fragile Dreams? Horror JRPG? It's not. I don't see that game as a JRPG, but I do know the game on the Wii. I did play it. I played it last year. I don't remember if it was on Halloween though, but I played it last year. I did an obscure Wii Games stream. I don't know if it was in October, but I played it before and it's live. You can find a live stream on my YouTube channel here. Not in the playlists though. I should add those streams on the playlists. Maybe I'll do it one day. Your first gaming system was a Vectrex. You're that old? Wow, a Vectrex. Jesus. They have a few in English. I know the PCFX is. I know. I know it's like this, the PC Engine 2, basically. Is it any good though? I've never played it, and I've seen it. I've seen the console, but I've never played any games for the PCFX. Is it better on the PC Engine or TurboGrafx? People know it in North America. It was called TurboGrafx 16 in North America. The few RPGs. Oh, there's some RPGs. Now I'm interested. Agadas Generations of War. Good game. PC now, dude. Now I have to look them up. See what you make me do? PCFX. Like RPGs. Can't even find them, you know. Oh, there we go. PCFX, no, it's not PCFX. Okay. Now I want to know. What are the RPG? Farland? Oh, I know Farland! That one got a recent translation. I know Farland. Looks interesting. Farland Sparkling Feather. Well, Yeah, I know. RetroArch can play them, you know. Maybe I'll play Farland. I think it got a fan translation. Farland. Imagine recommending that in my video. Imagine doing a top 10 in Farland. Number 1, Farland for PCFX. That's gonna be a really successful video. I just know it. Yeah, sometimes I need to hold back on certain games because they are released on consoles most of my viewers don't give a shit about. I squeeze them sometimes, you know, I try to include them there in top 10, you know, but it's like with Princess Crown, I was like, man, no one's gonna give a shit about this, but there, you know, I did my review in a top 10. I think it was number 2 or number 3. And I think the video was called Top 10 Most Overlooked JRPGs. Oh, Criminally Overlooked, something like that. Insanely Overlooked JRPGs Part 2. I talked about Princess Crown. Princess Crown. Princess Crown. Well, I don't know if you finished it, man. How do you expect me to know if you finished a game or not? Stardew Valley? Isn't that like fucking Harvest Moon clone or something? Oh, did I finish it? Why do people expect me to talk about certain things like Xbox? When have you ever seen me caring about Game Pass and Xbox and I don't give a shit, man. I don't understand why some people do that, you know. When they're completely new and like I've never seen this username before, like I get it. Like, okay, they're new. They don't know I don't give a shit. But Tyson, you know I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Creeped? Stalker? No. Princess Crown is on PSP, that's right, but that version is not fan translated, only the Sega Saturn version. Make a poll to choose. Yeah. Topics that you can ask me questions about today. And I'm gonna do a poll about that. Great, yeah. I'm the gaming beacon of 2025? Am I? I don't care about modern games. Are you sure about that? But thanks, I guess. This is from Shining Blade. It only says the name of the song. Kagayaku Kengeki. Kagayaku Kengeki. Shining Blade. Okay? Good game on PSP. Check it out. And do me a favor and spend the rest of the weekend and the rest of the following week playing Shining Blade on PSP. I really do recommend it. I have a review based on it. It's not a masterpiece or anything, but it's a great game. If you like girls and fan service, you know, you're gonna enjoy the game. That's my recommendation for today. And if you don't care about it, just watch the review. Watch the review. I would appreciate it a lot. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day and a good week. And I will see you next time. Bye. Bye!